Okay, so we've got a bit of a change of scenario here. We were fishing a part of a river for barramundi and we had a flood tide and there was plenty of fish and we were catching lots of little ones and fish to, you know, various sizes. However, the tide's just turned and all of a sudden this big mullet starting to pour out of these two creeks. So I'm gonna take a punt of not catching as many fish, but I'm gonna try and catch myself a bigger barramundi. So glide baits, swim baits, whatever, they're super popular these days. A lot of people are using them for cod and species like that. But something like this swim bait here or this glide bait here are absolutely dynamite for barramundi. This is the Gancraft jointed claw. This is the Jackal Gantia. Such a good piece of gear. And as you can see, it swims like a mullet. It looks like a mullet. It's got that soft tail, but it's got little features on it that make them so user-friendly. This one's a slow floating lure, so it goes across the surface or just under, but I can clip weights to the chin to make it sink. This lure here is the Shimano Armor Joint 190 SF Flash Boost. So this is a really cool piece of gear. It's again a swim bait. It's a multi-segmented lure, okay, and it's got that flickering panel in it on those springs. I've used them for other species like tailor and things like that, but this I reckon is going to be good for the barramundi. I'm going to really alternate between these two lures, and while they look big, that is not big at all. That's just a nice sized mullet, and a big barramundi likes to eat big stuff. So this is the stuff I'm going to be working with. You can see there I put that little chin weight on the nose because this floats as well. I'm in about 15 feet of water here and I want to get that lure down, not to the bottom, but just sort of mid-water. Just get it down in the face of these big barra as they come out and station themselves, hopefully in these areas, to feed on the mullet as they roll out of the creeks. So that is swim baits and glide baits. It's time for us to get to it. Okay, so the gear I'm using to throw these big swim baits it's on the heavier side of bait casting tackle. This is a 7'5" Zodius heavy action rod. It's with a Shimano SLX DC bait cast reel. I've got 50-pound braid, 60-pound leader. Like, this is a serious sort of pole. It's quite stiff, you know, it's got good hooking power when the barra eats the lure, but it's also got the stiffness that you can throw these big bulky lures a long way because they are a bit chunky. But when fish eat these, they eat them hard because it's such a big sort of lure for them. They got to crunch it. It's just a matter of a slow roll. That lure has its own action. It's just wriggling through the water like a real fish. I'll just do half a dozen turns, pause, half a dozen turns, pause, half a dozen turns. And that's just having it swim along. It comes up and then it falls back down and just keeps on going. It looks a lot like a mullet going through the water. Got him. Jesus. Yep. He's decent. He's decent. Yep. Oh, jeez.
How big? How big?
Big, big, big.
Like over?
Big. Oh, I reckon it is.
Just close?
I reckon it is.
Change it up.
How's that?
Oh yeah, far out.
This is all about, I just wanted one big fish and I just went to a big swim bait and got absolutely jammed.
I ain't going yet, eh? He's too wild.
Absolutely jammed.
Mate, first cast, that was unreal. He's playing with fire.
Get out of there.
Ooh.
Get out of there. And just take it easy now. That's a big fish.
He's a nice fish, mate. He's a real solid fish. I think he's that 102, 104 bracket, you know?
Come on, get out of there.
Nice, mate.
Get out of there.
He's pretty safe around there.
Oh yeah? It's just hanging down mangroves.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just makes him feel a bit safer, but...
The bite was
just electric, eh?
I suppose he's eating a 200mm long lure. He's got to eat it. Just leading this fish at the moment, not really trying to dictate anything crazy, just leading the...
That's it, get it around,
leading it.
Oh!
That's alright. Look at the garfish she spat up.
Look at that.
How the f did that happen?
You just jumped at
Don't stress, man, we're getting another one. Got him. He's alright. Not the same, but he's okay. Not quite in that donkey category of the one I lost, but anyhow. It's sort of working. My theory worked. Big lure, not as many bites, but some better fish. Like you'd be saying that's a very, very big fish, except comparing it to the last one. Oh, and he's got a 200mm lure right down his throat. And we're just trying to guide this fish than bully him. Yeah, you get plenty of big fish in these areas, so I thought I'm going to just mix it up, go to an oversized lure, get less bites, but hopefully find a couple of better fish. And so far I've had 2 bites. One was a giant, which we lost, and this one. Yeah, he's a nice fish, bud. Thanks, Jez. Thank you. 82. There you go. Mate, that other fish was an animal.
108, I reckon. Yeah, it's a good fish. It's a good cracking fish.
I'll take that, and it shows that just by upsizing your lure a bit, you can get to that next class of fish. Send him back, what do you reckon? He's off. I'll show you this lure. Flash Boost Armour Joint 190 SF. It's actually a floating lure, but I've just put a little tiny chin weight on it there so that it pulls down because we've got a bit of deeper water here. And what makes this guy so good is he goes through the water and the whole body just kicks and wriggles like that. But also when you cast this one, which is quite unique, he actually folds and goes through the air like that, because swim baits and glide baits traditionally aren't great for casting. They tend to spin around and do weird stuff, but this guy folds, becomes aerodynamic, cuts through the air like that, and you get really good distance with it. So yeah, this is good. This is very good. I'm gonna keep fishing. So that's all I'm doing with this. Getting it over there, anywhere through this area, sinking it down a little bit, and then it's just a slow roll out. That lure, I can actually, you don't feel the glide bait or a swim bait kicking, but you can see your line where it's entering the water doing that, and that's the lure doing that in its big sort of zigzag swim motion. I'm just rolling it, pause, roll it, pause. That's all I'm doing, nothing crazy. I think that's why the bite's just so intense, because it's just doing this and then it stops and then just goes whack. You know, it's not an up and down or a twitch or anything, it's just it's a moving bait, and that second it pauses, they thump it. Ah, that's the one, that's the one. That hurt. That's a better one. I have literally stood here watching Jezza just catching barra after barra and just persisted with this big swim bait or glide bait. Oh, that literally shredded my thumb on the bite. Bite and a half. And I suppose that's the thing that happens when you fish a big lure. They've got to hit it hard. They can't really swim up behind something big and tap away at it. Haven't seen this thing yet, but
no, we haven't.
It's got weight.
Oh,
nice fish. That's where this long rod's good too. It throws the big lure a long way. Heaps of hook setting power, but also you can control that fish around the boat. Here we go. That's it.
That's a nice fishy. Oh. 91, 92. Nice fish, mate. Well done.
Thank you, mate.
Nice fish.
Mate, the way he hit, I thought he was going to be bigger, but I tell you what.
That hook off
hey?
He's taken that hook off, look.
The back hook, he's completely ripped it out. Or the front hook, he has.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, mate, we weren't far off losing that fish.
Really?
Straight in the back one, and he's ripped the front one out. Look at that.
That's an owner ST66 treble, and that's how strong these guys are. And they just clamp their jaw shut, and it just straightens stuff. It's not so much in a straight pull, you'll straighten the hooks, but it's when they do that. Not really regarded as a barra lure probably, but that 190 SF armour joint is quickly becoming a favourite of mine. Oh.
Oh, he's going to go another.
He's going to go.
He's can't all do that.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
Oh, he might not make 90.
85. That's a big looking 85.
That's a big 85.
Wowee. That's all right. I'm still happy with that, mate. I'm just happy because, you know, I love doing that thing, throwing that bigger lure for that one bigger fish.
That's a lovely fish.
And I'm wrapped to do that. Big dorsal on him, Jez.
That's the thing,
massive
mate.
dorsal.
That's the thing. It's these roper fish.
That big gob. Oh.
Well done, buddy.
Thank you, mate. Okay, so there you have it. A different style of lure to go and chase your barra with. And that's the great thing about barra. They love so much different stuff. If you want to target big fish, something like that, or a gantia, or a jointed claw, it doesn't matter. It's a different form of fishing that will often get you bites when other lures won't. Get into your Anaconda stores because they have all this stuff you need. Get yourself a bigger, heavier rod, something like this guy here, the Zodius 7.5 heavy SLX bait caster, some heavy braid, that's 50 pound, some 60 pound fluorocarbon leader, and you're in business.